In this series, I've been going through how to build a new Horizon site from scratch. I've started off with the basics with just general theme, input settings, and how to build your first section. And now we're starting to dive into a little bit of code for if you need to customize certain elements on your page. Now, in this specific video, we're going to cover how to edit the product information section because it's, as we all know, one of the most highly viewed, most important pages ever on an e-commerce site. In the past, we couldn't really edit too much within the product information section because it was fairly limited to the blocks that we have. That's changed a little bit in Horizon. In Horizon, we're able to add this really powerful block called the group block. If we take a look at it here, we're able to add in an icon like so. We're also able to add in text. And most importantly, with the group block, we're able to build really robust layouts. Furthermore, another way that we used to add blocks over here was through app blocks. Now, I highly recommend you check out my app Flexi. I know I always have to plug it, but if you go over into blocks and into apps, you have also a bunch of different blocks that you can add through the Flexi library. One really useful block that I recommend you add is the text block. And I know that you may be thinking, well, Horizon already has a text block. Well, what's kind of limiting with it in the Horizon text block is you can't manage certain settings, like even such as color. But with the Flexi block, you're able to adjust the color and even simple things like mobile font size, which is really helpful when you're getting down to the nitty and gritty of building your site. Most importantly, one thing I want to call out is that both app blocks and any of the blocks that come with the Horizon theme work with theme updates. So if you go over to your main theme area within Shopify under online store and themes, you'll notice that we get different versions of Horizon and different versions of themes in general. It's really important, especially if you're a smaller store, you get the theme updates so that you're always getting the newest features and the newest techniques Shopify uses. Now, if I go over back into the theme customizer, you'll notice that I have this custom block over here. Now, what's really important is that in the past, you couldn't actually add or build custom blocks using code because they would just get wiped with theme updates. That's changed. You can now use theme updates and also build custom blocks for your theme. In the rest of the video, I'm going to explore how you can build your own custom block using code. So without further ado, let's dive into the code editor. Now, if you haven't checked out my previous video, I highly recommend that you do, because in that video, I go over how you can build this custom block that we have here. And in this video, I'm going to expand on this custom block. I'm going to show you how you can use some of the Shopify input settings with our custom block that we built so that we can change the color of this block using the input settings over on the left-hand side here, as well as change the font size of this block using the input settings over here. And hopefully that will give you some of the basics on how to further build out this custom block. So the first thing we're going to start with is we're going to get rid of this really ugly red color, and we're going to add our own color picker within the theme customizer. So to do that, we're going to go into our custom block, we're going to do comma, and then we're going to add in a color setting. So if I go over to input settings, I'm going to search for color. And you'll notice that we can just grab this color setting over here. Now, if I put it in below, I'm just going to fix my tabs and spaces because I'm particular. And we're going to change the ID to color. The ID is kind of like the reference for this color picker over here. I'm going to change my label, and the label is what it's called within the actual settings within the Shopify. So for example, title is our label over here. So I'm going to change that to color. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference the ID that we have for color, and I'm going to go over into our style sheet, and I'm going to remove this red text, and in brackets over here, I'm going to put in two curly braces, block.settings. So we're referencing our block, and we're referencing the settings in the schema below, dot, and then the color, which is the ID that we just added. And it looks like we just have our first error here, and that's actually due to saying that we want a style sheet. Instead of style sheet, which is more static, we want to add a dynamic style brackets within here. So we're going to remove sheet, and we're going to go to down here and style, and again, remove sheet. Now, once we've made our code changes and refresh the page, you'll notice that we have this color picker. Now, if we click into this color picker, we can go over and then select different colors, whatever we want, and you'll notice that it reflects within the theme customizer over here. Now, the last setting that I want to add is some sort of range slider so that we can adjust the font size. So in my input settings, I'm going to go over into, I think it's called range. Yep. And we're going to grab this little bit of code here, and we're going to put it below just like so. And this is going to be font size. In our case, the default font size is going to be 16 pixels, but we have a max font size that we can have as 14, minimum font size as 12, and the units we're displaying inside the theme customizer under settings is pixels. It's pretty much all set up correctly. So what I'm going to do is go to the top of my style sheet and go font size. And type in block.settings.font size. Now, if we go over back into our theme customizer, and we're going to hit save for this green color and refresh our page, you'll notice that we are able to now adjust our font size. I'm just going to adjust this back to black just so it's a little bit more bearable, and hit save. Before I conclude this video, another thing I want to call out is that you can use meta fields to dynamically pull in data so that you don't need to keep making different product templates. You can dynamically pull in data by connecting a data source up here. So if we click on that, we notice that we have a few created. And again, in one of my previous videos, I show you how to create a meta field. So for example, we could pull in this text meta field over here, and you notice that nothing shows up. Well, we can actually hit save over here and add in some dynamic content into that meta field so that it displays. So I'm going to click on it over here and scroll down. And then under text, I'm going to put the type of flavor that this is. So it is a light roast. I'm going to hit save. Then I'm going to go back over into our theme customizer. And then sometimes it takes a little bit to pull in, and we will have to refresh the page. There we go. Now we notice that light roast is coming up, and we can actually even add text before it and after it over here. So for example, we could type in flavor, light roast, and then we could then add dynamic data for different products and have the same template for every page. But sometimes within the code, you'll want to just edit the meta field directly. And to do so, what you can do is add in the meta field like so. So we're going to do 2 curly braces like this. Then we're going to go into our meta field area, which is under settings, and then meta fields and objects. And we've created a few meta fields, you'll notice here. But in the text meta field, if we click in, we'll notice that we have custom.text. To reference this in the code, what we'll have to do is type in product.metafields.custom.text. Then once we refresh our product page, you'll notice that the meta field is directly displaying. Even if I delete my other content over here, we'll notice that the meta field pulls in dynamically. This is a really cool feature to have if you're building really robust and dynamic blocks. Anyways, I'm going to conclude the video here. Hopefully you found some value in how to create product blocks inside of Shopify. And if you want to follow along with my series with building in Horizon, and you're a freelancer or agency or even just a merchant that wants to get more technical, I highly recommend that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Cheers.